Yo, welcome to the Seeding Greatness Podcast, ModeX series. Get the title to Corean.
Yes.
Right, I've been calling her Corean for like 2 years now. And I am excited for multiple reasons to talk to you today. Number one is I got the opportunity to hear you speak at, I believe it was TEDx Buckhead Ave's first event.
Yes, it was.
And I was mesmerized.
Oh.
And by your concept, by your idea, by the mastery of your delivery. Oh, and I wanted to ask you all about the creation. Did you write that talk yourself?
I did.
You did? So so many questions because it was very well written.
Oh, thank you.
So I know that you come from some type of something to be able to write it and articulate it like that. And then all your stuff around corporate and innovation and play is very intriguing to me. My wife tells me, Darryll, you got to give people a warning sometimes because I'm deep and I can go deep fast. So I'm gonna pre-warn you before I read your bio for our listeners.
I can go deep.
And y'all, we're already in the deep end. It was such a vulnerable spot to hear you touch on play because I don't feel like I allowed myself to play my entire life.
Yeah.
And so to know that I am a kid at heart, but to have so much challenge accessing the emotions of play or feeling safe when the emotions are present was a very I was thinking about your talk. I haven't stopped since the day I heard it for that very reason of like, man, I do need more play in my life. I know the benefits and what it can do for me creativity wise, but I'm so challenged by participating.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're raised that way, right? Like as we start to get a little bit older in school, it's sit down, sit still, stop playing. You have to be responsible. You have to do this. You have to do that, right? Like you're groomed that the measure of success is how responsible you are, how serious you are. But then you're usually in a company or a role, or even if you have your own business where you have to be creative and innovative. But that doesn't come from being serious and responsible, right? That's not even that part of your brain. So
Right. Exactly.
it's a battle for most adults.
It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. And so like I'm just letting you know that's coming.
Yeah.
And anytime I open up, I'm always curious that side of you. Okay, let me read your bio. Okay, here we go. Corean Canty is a TEDx Buckhead Ave speaker. She's a coach, and she's the founder of Speak More Human, a visibility and voice strategy studio that helps leaders turn big ideas into impact. She's also the co-founder of Shift to Play, a culture innovation company using play to unlock creativity, trust, and collaboration inside teams. So fire. With over 20 years of experience across media, marketing, advertising, including executive roles leading Fortune 500 accounts and scaling high-growth startups, with equal parts heart, hustle, and humor, Corean has a knack for making the hard stuff feel possible and, yes, even fun. I love that, and that is so you. Okay, so we're already in it, and we might as well just start with the pool that we stepped in.
Yep.
I'm curious for you because that was something that I didn't get from your talk that I wanted so much was it ever challenging for you to play?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why
It's
so?
something, I mean, I went through the same shoulds ladder, right? We go through the shoulds ladder when I had a lot going on in my childhood. My father died at a very early age. I had to learn how to kind of grow up quicker than I needed to. I became a mother very early in my life. So my life was really leaned into that idea that you got to be responsible. Now you got to take care of your daughter. Now you got to do this. So
How old were you when your father passed?
I was 9.
9 years old.
Yeah, I was
How did
9.
he pass away?
I was 9. He had a stroke and then didn't recover fully from it and ended up passing. Yeah.
Was that? I mean, obviously you lost your father. I mean, did y'all have a close relationship or?
We did. Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents were married. We're in the same household. You know, that was my dad. And so that was a big life shift in life.
Was it just you? Or you had siblings?
I have siblings. They're 20 years older than me, so
20?
different, big gap. My mom, I was just
Wow.
me with my dad. I'm his only child. Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
20 years different.
My oldest brother's 20 years older than me.
Jeez, I thought I was the only one. So I have a little brother and a little sister.
Yeah.
That's I think I keep saying 3 and 5, but they're like 9 and 7 now, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So you're on the flip side. You're like,
I
so
am.
my sister and my mom were pregnant at the same time. So my nephew is 3 months older than me. So we kind of grew up
Oh,
as
wow.
siblings.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, wow, like lost father early and had to deal with that. And then it sounds like was also very like raised in a very like forced to be mature type of way.
Yes.
Is that kind of how you describe it? So,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, and I mean, also think about the time frame that was. We were all latchkey kids back then, right? So we had to figure things out. You had the key around your neck. You come home, you make your own food because our parents had to work, and you know, it was kind of grow up, figure things out. How do you be responsible? And then when I had my daughter, she almost died when she was born, and so I wasn't thinking about college or anything right away. But I realized, like, wait a minute. Society's telling me if I want to be a good mom, if I want to take care of my kids, I need to go, you know, do the corporate ladder and get a 401k job, because I've always been a creative at heart as a child. Like even dealing with learning how to process grief and things when nobody was talking to you about it, because even I think when we were younger, it's still, you didn't talk about things as much as you do nowadays, right? Things just kind of happened and you just keep it moving. But I'd always write and draw and have this creative side, and I thought I was going to go to art school and all these things, and then became a mom. So the path went
How old were you when you became a mom?
17.
17, like my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you? So you were senior in high school?
Senior year.
Yeah.
Yep.
My mom had me when she was a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did that change your life?
I think my daughter saved my life.
Yeah.
Actually, I think.
Good.
I mean, I've never been an adult, like, for me. Many people I talk to, like a lot of my friends who are just recently had children or are thinking about it still, it's like, oh, I don't know how I'd fit a child into my life. Or, oh, I don't know how I'd give up my life. And I'm like, well, I don't know what that feels like, because I've always been a mom. That's been my primary identity. So everything that I did was to give my children a lifestyle that I wanted them to have. But I also always kind of knew I needed something for me as well. And so I'd always have a side hustle, but the side hustle wasn't because I was a single mom and I just needed extra money. The side hustle was where I got my creative outlets. So some of my side hustles were like makeup artist. I had a photography business. I did like different things. They were always creative.
You seem like you'd be a photographer.
Yeah, I did. I had a photography business, and then weddings made me quit.
No, I bet.
Because, you're supposed to be joyful, and lots of times they're very stressful. So I prefer, candid shots and just taking pictures of what I want now in life. But along those lines, one of the things that I did was take an improv class, and that's what really brought play back into my life. And I wasn't thinking about it. I had a friend who was like, hey, I really want to go to this improv class. And she was really trying to get out of her shell, but she was too afraid to do it herself. So I was like, I'll go, well, that sounds fun. And I went. She didn't show up, but I loved it and went on to perform for 15 years. I've been doing improv for 15 years. I have a improv team, Red Pill Players. Shout out to Red Pill Players. We've been together for over 10 years, a BIPOC improv team. And improv really brought me back to what it feels like to play, like that unlocking your imagination and just playing with your friends and being in the moment and being present to life. And I think that's the part of play we don't think about. We don't think about how it brings us to the present moment. And the biggest thing that people say to me is like, oh my God, I could never do improv. I don't know how you do that. And I'm like, you did it until you were about 8 or 9, guaranteed. Because if you take a room and you put a bunch of kids in it, whether they know each other or not, all these rules that we made up and wrote books about and say they're like rules of improv are just natural ways that we play. Like the kids are going to walk into the room, they're going to create a world, they're going to yes and each other, because if they don't, the game stops, right? So they're going to, oh, you're a dinosaur, well, I'm a dragon. They're just going to keep playing and building these worlds and using their imagination. And then we had to label it as adults and put rules on it for us to remember how to do it. Right.
This is interesting because it's so simple, but yet it's so challenging.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like in corporate, like what do you do with these teams, and how is their receptivity to this information that seems so obvious, but yet so challenging at the same time?
Yeah. So one of the things that I loved, and so I started bringing it into corporate just as a leader myself. And so if anybody's ever worked for me in a company, they've done improv, so they know. But it does so many different things. Number one, like, most people want to take a break. Can we go play instead of watch another slideshow? Like, yes. Can I get up out of my seat and not sit here? You know, like, people want to do things different. As humans, we want to have experiences. It's just part of who we are. So when you say you're going to do something different, most of the time, especially in a corporate environment, if they can get away from their computer and like do something that might be fun, then yeah, let's try it. So there's a level of receptivity. I mean, some people are like, I don't want to play games, but they usually end up changing because it's very simple communication, right? We do very simple warm-up games, but what it does, and the beauty of it, especially when you have teams or you're trying to build connection or collaboration, and we all have bias, right? And it's not just bias in the fact that if we say that word now, people only think of it in certain ways, but we all have bias in the fact that we all have lived different lives. We all think differently. We have thought diversity, right? And so our natural filters through our own lived experience, but nobody else has had the same lived experience. So that alone means that we have a bias, and we don't have a way of showing that and putting the mirror up to it without it feeling like it's attacking our character. So many times when we try to teach that or help people see that and we label it as DEI training, which now we know is bastardized in a whole other thing, and you can't even understand what the words mean anymore. When if you strip away labels and perceptions, if people are playing a game and they're laughing, number one, when you're laughing, you're open, right? Your masks fall off once you're laughing. Your parasympathetic nervous system is activated. You can access parts of your brain to connect more. So if we're laughing and you're laughing with your team, you're going to learn things about them you've never learned before. So when you hear someone saying, I thought you were going to say red balloon instead of purple balloon, right? You can switch that into a moment and have what we call power discussions, where it's like, oh, so what happens in meetings? And you can have these aha moments of like, oh, and it's not threatening. It's not saying you're a bad person. It's not attacking your character. It's like, oh, I was just thinking how I think, and you think different. And I love how you think. That's fun. I never would have thought apple instead of fire truck, right? Like, and so you get to learn each other in a way. You get to laugh about it. These are meaningless words. You get to have some fun, but you don't realize how much is unlocking in you. And just to say silly things, right? We always think we have to say the perfect word or we have to have the right answer. And so if you're forced to say things that are just silly and kind of don't make sense, you can start to let go of that rigidness of like the judge that we all have in our head about what comes out of our mouth. And so you just start to be more human with each other.
So I'm listening to you, and you just seem like you're so fun to hang around. But I'm like, I'm still having trouble understanding, like, why did you struggle with this dynamic? Like, I get growing up, I get having a daughter, but at your heart, you still seem like a big kid.
Yeah, because I believed the lie. I believed that to be a good mother, to be a successful person, to be this, I got very locked in. And I'm a Capricorn, so I can lock in. Like Saturn rules my sun sign,
When's your
right?
birthday?
January 7th.
Okay, December 31st.
Okay, so we're right there, right? So you get it. Like, I also have a very strong work ethic. I'm also, I can lock in. I can get flow in a spreadsheet or painting a painting, right? It's just both ways. And so
that's not normal though. That is
But what is normal?
It's rare.
What is normal?
It's rare.
Yeah.
Normal is average. Normal is like, on average, people don't tend to be able to embrace, especially at a high level, both spectrums of, corporate and play or creativity and the more structured side of our brain, right brain, left brain, however you want to word it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a very challenging dynamic, but you carry both really, really well.
Oh, thank you. I think the struggle comes, like, I still struggle some days, right? Like, it's the pressure that we have in this society as adults, and especially when you have to be the caretaker, because I've been the caretaker my entire life. I've been the caretaker for my children. I'm now the caretaker for my mother and her partner. Like, when you're the one in your family or your circle that has to be the responsible one, that's a weight that sometimes precedes you allowing yourself to just have fun or play.
So give me a scenario where you were presented with an opportunity to play, but yet because of your conditioning or the story that you believed, you chose not.
Well, I think that's funny. my partner Anthony, he'd probably tell you that's like an everyday thing, because if I'm like locked in and thinking like, okay, I got to go get this client, or I got to do this because I got to go take care of my mom, or I got to do that, and he wants to stop and have a playful moment, and I'm like, I can't do that right now. I'm too locked into work. Like, it's those little moments, right? Like I'm better at the big moments. Like yes, let's go hop on stage and do an improv show. Let's go take this spontaneous trip, right? Let's go do all of these bigger fun things where I'm removing myself, but it's reminding myself and being okay to take those playful moments in the middle of life happening.
I love the honesty in the answer.
Yeah.
Well, I'm having this moment of just laughter, because I just think I think it's funny, and I also know that it's just it qualifies you to teach, that you have the same challenge that you're teaching people with.
Oh yeah.
I just think it's funny to be like, here's all the answers.
Yeah.
And then be like, I'm struggling with the same thing I just gave you all the whole blueprint for. Like, but I think that is what qualifies you to distribute the medicine, because it comes from the true authenticity of your life, and not just alone from the condensation or the collection of your information.
Yeah, I love that. It's we all have tool belts, right? And we build these tools, and I have a lot of tools in my tool belt, so I share the tools. It doesn't mean I don't need to use them anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's very interesting, because I've been to places where there's people who studied play, but they've never actually performed play, or they don't play, right? And I think we see that a lot in life, where people can study a thing, and but we as humans want to connect with the person who's lived the thing, right? Like, we all love, like, the biggest example you can say is like, we all love Oprah. We don't believe we're gonna wake up and be Oprah tomorrow.
I do.
Right?
I be really believing that sometimes. Ask my wife.
That's great. I wish more of us did. But there's many steps from
Oprah,
who Oprah is today, from where she was like, quote unquote, us.
I know.
And so for many people, they can't fathom that that's a gap that they could close.
Right.
But when you see someone who you can feel like you still relate to, who's still in it, like, oh, you still live like me. Oh, you know, oh, that's only a couple steps ahead of me. Oh, you've learned to do it a little bit better than me. Then people are more open to and receptive and believe and give themselves permission that they can actually be it too, not just admire it. And so I think that's one of the things where I think people don't understand in the quote unquote coaching industry or the consulting world, is that it's not about the people who are the absolute expert gurus. It's about the people who are just a few steps ahead, who've done the work, and they can share the tools. So you can then try the tools and play with the tools, and then you can share the tools, right? And so we all kind of lift together.
Oh, totally. And it's so funny. Sometimes I don't know. It's a very thin line between trauma dumping and expressing, right?
Yes.
Like it is a very thin line. So I might be writing this line a little bit too much, but you made me think of, because yes, it is about being two steps ahead, but it's also about being the right solution to a problem.
Yes.
Right? Because I even told that a lot of people think that when they start out as speakers that they have to be free before they get a fee. And it's like, not necessarily. If you actually solve a problem and you can speak to it, like, everybody doesn't want you to be Eric Thomas or like a big stage personality. They just want somebody who actually knows what they're talking about and are not going to go in front of an audience and embarrass, them. And so for me, this dude, you'll get a kick out of the story. So this guy was in the sales process with me, and it was like, oh, this is easy. I see this problem 100 times. Like, when your clients come to you because they sound like the same, everybody else. Oh, I have this thing that's this very problem that you solve. So it was like very clear, like, I got you. Was supposed to work together, was working on picking out dates, and he said to me, you know what, I got to be honest with you. I don't want to move forward because I think that you and your clients are nobodies. Like, nobody's ever heard of y'all. Y'all are nobodies. And I was like, first of all, I don't speak about my clients like that.
Right.
But deep inside, I was like, you know what? I get his point. Like, he doesn't know me from Adam, and I understand that I'm not Damon John or whatever.
Right.
So he might want to take business advice from Damon John and not Darryll Stinson. That might be great. But the problem is that his problem was something that I think I'm the best at the world is solving. I'm like, Damon John could maybe grow you a $10 million company, but he can't fix that problem like I can.
Right.
And I think in this industry, we need to develop problem awareness around what are we actually struggling with and who's qualified to solve it, not who has the best brand look,
Right.
not who had the podcast with the highest influencer.
Right.
Because some of these people can pay to be in a VIP room and take a picture,
Right.
but you get in a room across the table from them, they can't solve a problem, they can't tell a
Yes.
story, they can't design a business without ChatGPT.
Well, and that's the thing, like, the first problem most people have is they're not clear on their problem. So they don't even know what solution they're really looking for, right? And so, like, clarity is always my first step. The amount of, and you get this too because you work with tons of speakers.
Yeah.
The first time someone's coming to me and I'm hearing, ooh, you're doing the should talk. That's not your talk. That's the should talk,
That's the
right?
should
And you
talk,
think
yeah.
you're doing the thing, and you're just like, well, let's step back. And this is life work. This isn't just how do I go get paid to be on a stage? Like, how do you use your voice while you're here and make an impact in the world through the vehicle of your voice, right? Because that's really, if we strip away the fact that we have to have money to live in the society, we all want meaning, right? And the struggle is we're trying to find a way to put them together. Like, how do we make a living and keep the living in it? Because too often, we're putting the living over there on the side, and then we think we're going to get to it, and someday never comes.
I know, I'm so bad. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I tell myself the reason is because the paradigm of work-life balance is not true to me. I believe in divine flow, and there's not a lot of difference for me between work and play or work and family, because everything I do is unto God, and so it's like hard for me to be like, how much am I actually being present in this compartment of my life and in this one? Because it's all like, am I just doing what God? But there is a lean towards busyness, work, and play is hard. Like, I'll tell you this story that I tell a lot, okay, on stages, by the way. And I use it to talk about emotions and expression, but I want to hear your perspective on the play. So we're driving to Disney. It's me, my 3 daughters, and my wife. It's the best scene you'll ever imagine. Driving to Disney with 3 girls, and we're playing Disney music all the way,
Getting ready,
turned
yeah,
out. And
yeah.
everyone who's been to Disney know the best moment, one of the best moments, is the opening of the park. Especially when if you're driving in, there's the big line, you're waiting. So there's all this anticipation. They're singing, let it go, let it go. All this happiness, all this joy, and for whatever reason, it's like I blew a circuit. It's like the joy meter was too high that I couldn't sustain the happiness. And then I started looking from the outside in and feeling like, man, my daughters are happy and I'm having this reaction of sadness to this moment of bliss. And I shamed myself for that moment. And I've noticed that that is predominantly true for me, that too much play doesn't feel safe. And I'm curious your thoughts on why that might be.
Yeah, I think some of it goes back to that idea that we're not being responsible because we're so locked into that idea that responsibility equals success, right? And we've come up in this culture, like, what are the badges of honor? Oh, man, I'm so busy. Oh, 80-hour weeks. Oh, sleep all day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to just grind, hustle, hustle, speed for speed's sake, right? There's a badge of honor for speed's sake when, especially in business, if you're going too fast, you have to go backwards and fix all the stuff you messed up. So you're actually not going fast. I call it the pain gap when I have my COO hat on. And I think so many of us our nervous systems are so fried that when we actually experience what it's like to turn that sympathetic fight or flight off and be in our parasympathetic nervous system and feel relaxed and feel joy. It's like, oh, we have that, oh, too much of it, something bad's gonna happen. Like we're built up to like, oh, too much of this, oh, what's next? I can't stay in it. Let me go back to my comfort. And my comfort might not feel that good. But as humans, we lean into what we're comfortable with. We lean into what we know. We don't like change. And if we spent so much of our life conditioned that the gold star is work hard, stress yourself out, barely sleep. Oh God, I need 10 coffees this morning because I was up to, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
Like that's the talk, that's the chatter that when you're outside of it, there is that feeling of guilt because like nobody else is doing it. Why do I get to do it?
Right.
Or, oh, I'm going to get caught slipping. Something's going to happen. I'm going to miss an opportunity because I'm over here actually living instead of working, which is so crazy to me. The fact that we even separate the words. Because if you had to balance is like two things on a scale, right? Well, you can't take work out of life. They're
Yeah.
not two separate things.
Yeah.
So you can't balance things that are not separate on a scale, right? Work is life. It's a part of life, just like everything else is a part of life. And so we have to build new muscle, right? We have to let our feelings feel and still do it anyway. It's kind of similar to fear, right? Like our lack of allowing ourselves to have joy and play is kind of similar to the same way that we let fear rule our lives, because we have a fear of not being successful. We have a fear of not getting the next client. We have a fear of what's our boss going to say? What's our coworkers going to say? If I'm over here laughing and they think I'm not working, like how many people have spent their career not really working at their desk, but they act like it when someone walks by because it needs to look like it. You're sitting there for 2 extra hours, even though you're not doing nothing because you want to be seen in that cubicle, and you're just wasting your life away, right? Like we even play work, right? We pretend we're working so people think that we're working when our brains don't work that way. Like just biologically, you could sit at a desk for 8 hours, your brain checked out 6 hours ago. So now you're not being productive
Is that
at
true?
all.
Is there like research
We
behind
have
that?
to, yes, there's research around. Our brain only works for so long, and then we have to take a break.
Oh, really? How long?
We can't, I think it depends on each person, but it's
Yeah.
really like the ideal is like give yourself like 90-minute work sessions and go then take a walk. Get up and like look at something else.
How long does it take for the brain to refresh?
Depending upon who you are as a human, but you can get up for 5 minutes, go outside, put your feet in the grass, ground, let yourself see something different. Look outside of the field of 12 inches in front of your face at a screen, right? Take in things, because you're also not going to have any creativity if you're not exposing yourself to something different and new and allowing your brain to make new connections, right? And using your imagination. So you really want to do different things and be in it. Like my favorite kind of thing that I would apply to this that's similar to how I was comparing it to fear is in Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic. Have you ever read that book?
I've read like half of that thing. And
I love that
haven't
book.
finished it, yeah.
But the thing that stuck with me in that book is when she's talking about fear and how so many of us don't tap into our creativity and create and do the things we want to do because we're afraid of whatever. Fear is the first thing that pops up in our head. So she uses the metaphor of driving in a car. She's like, we need fear. Fear actually is a survival thing. Most of the time it's turned on for things that have nothing to do with our survival, right? But it's trying to protect us. It's a good thing. So I have a place for fear. It sits in the back seat of the car, but it can't touch the radio and it can never drive.
Yeah.
And like that's such a good metaphor
Such
for
a good
me
one,
in terms
yeah.
of like how are we living our life and what's driving us?
Yes.
You know?
Ugh. That's good, man. So, okay, I want to get into the storytelling bag, but just one little nugget before we transition this conversation, because I think it's good. You mentioned it, but I think it's good just to speak in tips of like if someone from corporate executives is watching us. Obviously, we do a lot of training in corporate, and they just are like, cool, can help us now. Like, what are some things that we can do to bring foster innovation, creativity in our workplace? Give us a couple of tools and tips.
Yeah. Well, number one is normalize getting up from your desk and not being there, right? Like it's okay to normalize times on your calendar where it's not back-to-back calls, right? We need those pauses. We need focus time. We need play time. Like include that
How do you
as
normalize
something.
it though?
Well, number one, it starts with leaders, right? Because leaders can talk it, but if they don't do it, it's not going to happen, right? And I learned that even firsthand because I've been an advocate of this for a long time. But I also realized as leaders, many times we feel responsible for people. So I'm also the person that's always there for someone, right? So even as a leader, I'd be telling my people, make sure you take your vacation time. Like, go do this. Oh, yeah, go. But I'm always available. And if I'm always available, then I can say, go be unavailable. But if I'm always there, then they're like, well, I don't.
People will listen to what you say,
Right,
but
I don't
they will
believe it's
follow
okay.
who you are.
So once I started really holding my own boundaries
Yep.
and being like, you can't talk to me before this time. Like early on, you wouldn't get me on a call before 10, even in corporate. Like it's just not going to happen because my mornings are my own. I fill my cup first, right? I'm not pouring into everyone else as soon as I get out of bed. It's in these little things. How do you foster connection? Like when you do have to get on these calls all day, are you just fakely say, hey, how are y'all? And then diving right into stuff? Or are you actually fostering some connection between people and checking in? Like, how are you really as a human today? And if you're feeling the energy's off, maybe we cut the call short. Maybe instead of this call,
But how do you do that without like hijackers and like somebody now dumping the whole like personal life thing in the meeting, and now we didn't get anything done because we just cried over Sister Betty's problems. Like,
Well, sometimes that's what life needs, right?
Okay.
Like it can't always just be about work. And many times it's just realizing like, oh, things are heavy right now. How about we go for a walk? Everyone go out on your phone and let's do a walk and talk, right? Like there's just little things that as a leader, tap into being human first. Realize that if the people are good, the numbers come, right? Your people, if your people are good, if they're well,
that's good.
then they can be the most productive. If they're unwell, if they're stressed out, they're not being as productive. You're not getting their best ideas. You're not getting innovation. You're just getting butts and seats.
Were you able to do any of this work inside a corporate, or
Yes.
it was all when you left? So inside you were doing a lot of this stuff.
I was doing all of this stuff
All
inside
of
of
it.
corporate. I even
Because you understood
yes.
that it is how things get done.
Yeah, even as with the title of COO, which most people only think, oh, you're just spreadsheets and numbers. And
Right.
I led mindfulness mornings every Wednesday, or just get on and let's meditate.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like when we got together on our offsites, we were going to play. We're actually going to do improv and play. We're going to play games in our calls. We're going to have a fun Friday afternoon Zoom where we're not doing anything with work. We're going to play bingo or something. We're just going to do things so we connect as humans, because we also spend the majority of our time in life at work with other adults at work, not even like our friends outside of work. So if I have to spend all my time with these people, we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
And then that's how I ended up climbing the quote unquote ladder. It's because I always had the best teams. I always had the best teams because I cared about the people. I cared about like, oh, let's just all talk to each other about our lives. You got to go get your kids at 3. That's fine. Well, no calls at 3. Go get your kids. Like if we can understand that we all have these life needs and we can feel like our needs are met, people are going to do the work. I led remote teams since 2015, and like all these people are like, oh, but what if I can't see them if they're not doing that? I'm like, they're adults. You know, there's maybe a few people in the world who don't want to actually do anything, but most people want to do something that feels meaningful. They want to contribute. They want to get paid. Like they want to be part of a team. And if you create the right environment where they can live their life and do that, they show up very well.
Totally. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm amening you down in my head. And I'm also honestly looking at my culture and my team. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Oh, see, you might need a place.
Now, I do the personal side of
Yes,
things
yeah,
very well,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
better than most. Like, we talk about your life. We hold space
Yeah.
for you as a human. We make sure that you are fully integrated. And I definitely tell people
you
break
got to
from
build
Zoom.
it in your systems.
But I'm like, bingo? I'm not payrolling people to play bingo.
Why not?
Because there's a fear that I will go broke because I paid people to play bingo instead of to make sales.
Do you want your people to have new ideas?
I do.
Do you want them to innovate?
I do.
Do you want them to be able to connect dots?
I do.
Well, then they should play some games. Period. That's the way you learn how to do those things. Those are the tools to increase those skills.
You're right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So, okay, I want to get the storytelling back. Rapid fire. Do you think are you more creative or are you more like administrative?
I would not use the word administrative with me.
Okay.
I am
businessy.
I'm equal.
You're
I'm
equal.
very.
You're gonna ride the fence. You gotta choose. You gotta pick. You gotta like
I-
lean. You gotta have a lean. What's your lean?
I mean, if I have to have a lean, it's going to be creative, but I enjoy business. I like to work. Like, I like solving business problems. Like, get me in there. Like, my number one Clifton strength is strategy.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
let's figure this out. Like, I'm really great at that.
Do you ever feel conflicted to be so like strategic and creative?
No, because what I don't like is repetitive tasks. I don't want to sit down all day and have to like. I like early in my career,
okay.
I did like medical claims. That's like,
Oh, so
my
you're
God.
creative. So the business stuff is really about creative strategy. It's not
Yeah,
like
I have to have different things. Like I can't do the
you
exact
love
same
spreadsheets
thing every
or
day.
hate spreadsheets.
Not if I have to do the same thing every day. Let me build out a spreadsheet and create something and do something with it and solve a problem and create a tool and then give it to you and you're the one that has to fill it in every day. Cool. I don't want to be the one that just fills in the spreadsheet every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can create it
Yes.
masterfully.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still unique.
Yeah.
Unique. I get why they loved you in corporate.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I bet. Like she gets leadership, she's creative and she's like on it. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
When does this storytelling thing, the voice matters? Like I don't even know a lot about what you're doing to coach people in that area.
Yeah. Well, I would say story is probably the thing that's been my outlet the most in life. I own more books than anything else. I've always been an avid reader. As a child, I wrote a lot. I thought I was going to, like I said, go to art school, either go for probably writing. But I mean, as humans, we find meaning in story. But I love story. I am constantly listening to a book. I have probably 5 books by my bed. I like to write. Before the pandemic and all the theaters in Atlanta closed, I was on the house team at Highwire as a sketch comedy writer. I just love story.
Really?
And so, yeah, I mean, I started my career in radio, and so I did the morning show, and I was the news director. So I've always just been.
Do you have a podcast?
I do have a podcast.
What's it called?
Remember to Live.
I didn't know that. I'm totally listening.
It's called
to your
Remember to
podcast.
Live. I have taking summer break right now, but the premise of it was when I became a caretaker for my mother, I realized that there is a such thing as too late. Like we always say, it's never too late. It's never too late. And I'm like, actually, it is. There's things she wants to do, but she can't anymore because her brain and her body won't let her. So it's never too late to dream about doing things, but there absolutely is a too late to do. And so that's what inspired me to start the Remember to Live podcast and that's what fuels me even more. Like it didn't hit me as hard. Like my whole life I've been like, oh, my dad died when I was young. He misses, I always had like, he wasn't here. He missed this. But it didn't hit me until I saw my mom live end of life regrets. Like live, I can't ever, this lifetime doesn't have this thing for me. That I was like, what are we doing? Like, what are we really doing? And a big part of the storytelling for me and what I'm doing with Speak More Human is the first thing we need to do to change our lives is find our voice. Because we have to learn to speak up for ourselves, and we have to speak our truth to ourselves first. It's not even about getting on a stage. It's about, do you even know what your voice sounds like to you? Like, can we find that? Because if you can find if you can strip away everybody else's voice that's been embedded and that you're listening to, and the shoulds and the boxes and everyone else you're living for, and get back to your own voice, that's where it starts. And then once you find that, then you start to realize, well, oh, I actually have something to say that's from my unique perspective. And then when you start saying it out loud, you're giving other people permission, and you're creating change in a way that you probably didn't think that you could do just from speaking. And so that's really that's like the deep under core of it. And then the kind of secondary part is why I really went into this work too, is we live in a world where there's no longer pensions and 20-year jobs. You can't just go submit a resume and get hired. Like, you have to be visible. People have to understand who you are. And if you can't say it, if you don't know how to communicate your value, your expertise, your point of view, that's a problem. And many people now are struggling in the job market with 20, 30 years of experience. They can't articulate that, but also they don't realize that expertise is something you can monetize. And so it just kind of all comes together.
It does.
Yeah.
Man, that's so good. Oh, man, he says so much. I want to dig so much. Oh, 90 to 9-hour podcast. So at what point did you start, like, what was the early work in helping people shape story? Did you just start with writing feature stories? Did you start with coaching?
Well, it kind of started when I was still in corporate. Like, so even in corporate, I led a lot of the internal communications. There was a lot of change. I was in a hypergrowth organization. There was a lot of change happening, and people don't like change, number one, and companies do a horrible job of communicating change. They just make people do things. They don't share the why. And so I realized, like, we have to bring people along. And so even as a COO, we started a series where I did these series of what we called mega blogs, where it's like, before we even force all this change on people, can we give them the context? And so it's like, do you understand what's happening outside of this company, in the world, in the market? Do you understand how this affects you? Do you even understand the why we would do these things, and how it benefits your life and how it benefits everything around it, right? Even to the fact of, okay, most people don't understand business unless you work in finance. So let's talk about it. Let's educate everyone on business finances so they understand the decisions we're making, that that's not personal, right? And so finding your voice, even inside, and this is what a lot of people realize, it's not that you have to go get on stage. How do you find your voice inside your organization and lead change from within? How are you the one that connects the dots for people and rallies the voices within inside the organization? And so even there, I started these mini councils where I gave voice to people who felt like they didn't have voice in the company. So you have a voice in this, and bring people forward, or talk to the person if you're shy and have them come sit on the mini council and use your voice so you can be a part of the change. And seeing what that did in their lives there, I was the one where everyone became like, go put time on Corean's calendar just to talk about life. And so I literally had time blocked off as a COO for people to come to me and just talk. And most of the time it was, okay, how do I get the VP title, or how do I get the raise? And I'd say, well, how do you want to live your days? Because this should be a mutually beneficial relationship. It's not just, they're just asking me, well, what can I do? What can I do? Well, what can the company do for you? If you don't know that, like, here's some homework. Go figure it out and come back to me.
Right.
And then I want you to negotiate with me. I want you to use your voice with me. So this works for both of us, because if your life isn't benefiting from this, that sucks. And you're not going to do your best work. So it's a
What was
win-win.
driving you to do all of that work? That's some extra stuff.
Well, I think part of it is because my whole career, I was a single mom. I had to make work for me because I had to, right? I had to be able to shape my work around being a mom who had kids who still did things, right? Had activities. And so just by nature of survival, I think is where it started. And not accepting that, like, I can't. Because I had early on in my career, I had a leader who, when she heard my real story, like how I grew up, the story of like becoming a young mom, being in abusive relationships when I was younger, the types of communities and people that we were around, her question was like, oh, how did you not become a statistic? Right? And my response was, I never thought it was an option. And I don't know why. I just never, it never occurred to me to not go and do and try and build.
That's such a powerful statement. I'm just saying, because I had the opposite experience. I heard all the statistics, and I very much was by the grace of God, I had like this glimmer of hope that I was like called to do more. So that's what helped me out of the matrix of the belief. But it was incredibly hard for me. In fact, even as an entrepreneur, I had a lot of layers to shed around identity, like even like very transparently around Black people. Like I grew up, everybody I knew in Michigan was Black and broke and they had no money. And so you just start to believe that they talk a certain way. They all eat chitlin and grits, like, and they all like are broke, right? And I moved to Atlanta, and I had some of that lingering psychology. And it's one of the most embarrassing things to admit, because I was grown than a mug. And I come to Atlanta, and I am mesmerized. Like, I'm literally having a full body reaction when I see a successful Black man who's not like lame.
But you know, the key thing is that you went somewhere else and saw something new. And there's so many people who don't. Like, they never get to see what's possible. And so I think that's one of the positives of how connected we are now. And like, when we were kids, we didn't have social media. We didn't see anything outside of our block, right? You can see possibilities. Some of it's really fake and not real, but you can still see that there's different ways of living in the world where we didn't, from up until this point in history. You saw what you saw. And they could keep you isolated and keep you thinking this is how the whole world is. They can't do that anymore. Like, that's the thing that we don't realize. We're living in an age where even if they try to make you believe something, the truth is out there and it can be found. You know, and so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Do you know it?
I would say brilliant's not an adjective I use for myself, but I definitely know my worth. I definitely know my value, and I understand the impact I make when I walk in a room.
How would you describe what you're great at?
I think I'm great at being human. Like, I think I'm great at, well, Here's the thing. The number one word I get, because I do a lot of like self-reflection. And side note, when you were talking about being an entrepreneur, I think entrepreneurship is the greatest exercise in personal development there is. It takes you through things that I never went through in my 20 years of corporate, right? Because it's just, you have to face yourself. You have to get the mirrors. We can't read our label from inside our jar, and now we have to get different mirrors, right? And so I think that's really important. But the number one word, even when I left corporate, everyone does like what are called like kudo boards, different things. And like, I looked at all the little messages and like, and the number one word I get, and then I went back and asked every leader I ever led and like developed,
right?
Just if you could have some words about me, and the number one word I get is calm. Which is so funny to me because I feel like my life up until now it is, but like growing up, I've always been kind of quiet and shy, but I'd always felt turmoil or toxic or whatever. And so I feel like I've had to learn to be my own calm in the storm.
Yeah, of course.
And so now I can be the calm in the chaos.
Yeah.
Because I've also studied a lot of well-being modalities, and I'm certified in a lot of woo things as well. So I've done the work to be able to find my peace. And now I protect my peace.
Taste for knowledge.
Yes.
Did you do the same thing for storytelling? Because I'm still not seeing how you got good at it.
Well, I write a lot. I write a lot and I read a lot. I think if you want to be a good storyteller, you write a lot and you read a lot. Like, I think it's literally that simple, is that you observe life.
But there's a critical thinking component that's happening that you might, like, I observe, because this is my lane. So I can see it when it's, a good story is like a good outfit put together. Like, it's like you don't got stuff hanging. It's neat here. It fit you. It looked like it popped. And so, like, I'm listening to this TED Talk again on my way down here, prepping for this interview. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because I'm even as my own thought leadership, I'm like, she should. And then here it comes, bam, you hit that part. And I was like, okay, well, what about me? And there's no takeaway. And I want a takeaway. Yeah. And then at the end, you're like, just imagine, and then go do that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, she's murdering it. She got science. She's got a story. She got the takeaway. She got the connection. And like, it's like, so that is a fine pen, my friend.
Yeah, but think about what you just said, right? Yeah. Like, it's like a good outfit. How do you know what a good outfit is unless you've experienced seeing a lot of different outfits?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you never saw anything but one outfit, you would think that's a good outfit, and then you go to a fashion show and you're like, what is all this stuff, right? And so I think the real nugget of being a good storyteller is, do you pick your head up out of your phone and observe life?
I know what you mean.
You have to observe life, and a lot of that comes from, and I think I've honed my storytelling skills through improv, because we have to make up stories on the spot, on stage. A lot. Like, so you have to learn to be curious. And in improv, we're trained and we learn, like, if you want to have a good scene, which is telling a good story, it has to be grounded in reality. It's not, if you're a good improviser, you're not going on stage trying to be funny. You're not going like, joke. We don't do that. We start a scene and we establish the relationship and we understand where we are and we start connecting. And then the game of it becomes the first interesting thing. We all have these little, or you notice something about someone. And in improv, we just go there. It could be something as simple as we're sitting here talking about having a cup of coffee, and there literally could have been a bug flying on there. That's interesting. So now we're making a game, right? Like, so life teaches you to be a good storyteller, because if you think about it, before we ever wrote a word down, we were orators. Everything we've ever known has been translated through story. That's why we still enjoy. Consumerism is based off of storytelling. Yes. Right? That's why we have movies. That's why we have music. That's why we have books. That's why we have even reality TV shows. Like, we are interested in other people's stories in their lives. And once you kind of grasp that, then you start walking down the street and everything's a story. And like, sometimes when people I'm talking to who want to learn to be writers and like want to write fiction, it's like, take a notebook, go sit in a coffee shop, and watch someone, and then turn them into a character on your page. What's their name? What's their backstory? What are they talking about? What kind of coffee did they order? Why did they put on that outfit today? Like, it helps that curiosity muscle, and I think curiosity is that skill that's going to be so relevant and in demand, especially now in this AI world.
Is there a why behind that?
because AI is only as good as what has already existed. Right? As much as great as AI is, it's just matching, it's pattern matching, it's putting things together. And I heard Deepak Chopra say this the other day. And I was like, he said it in a very good way. He said, AI is getting really good. If you asked it to go paint you a Van Gogh, it could paint it brilliantly. But if you ask it to paint in the style of someone who hasn't been born yet, it doesn't know what to do with that. We can still imagine what something could look like that's not been born yet, right? We as humans have this thing in us called imagination because we've create all these things that didn't exist, right? AI can definitely put them together and create things that feels like it doesn't exist, but it's still based off of our existing knowledge, right? And so the way that we think and learn and create new things is being curious.
Top resources, books, podcasts, leadership, storytelling. What comes to mind?
Oh, let's see. Recently, this last year, I've just went heavy into fiction. So I go back and forth between fiction and nonfiction, because I think you have to listen to good stories. Like you really have to find some writers and listen to good stories and see how did they bring these characters to life. Because whether you're talking and doing talks about things that you're passionate about, it's still, like you said, if you can put it in this good story. But I like going back to some of the classics when it comes to writing, because I think if you can write well, then you can learn to speak well, right? And so one of my favorites is, because he's such a prolific imagination storyteller, is if you read Stephen King's book on writing, his book about writing.
On writing.
I mean, Anne Lamott, Bird by Bird. Like
Bird
these
by
little.
Oh my God, I want to hug you right now. No way did you just say that. People, I've been recommending Bird by Bird as a speaking resource to people for years. And they always look at me crazy because it's a writing resource. But I'm like, man, very few resources help me more as a communicator than that book. Because she just, with wit and humor, points out all your lack of communication skill.
Because you have to have the ideas to come out in your head before they come out of your mouth, right? You can learn how to use the mechanics of your mouth and how to be present and what's your stage presence and how to, pause or influx. But if you can have all those things nailed, but if what you're saying isn't a good story or a good idea, or you haven't put it together in a way that people can grasp it, right? And so understanding those mechanics of how humans communicate and understand is great. And I'm still always a fan of the artist way. And you don't even have to do the whole artist way. Like many of my clients, when they're working on their thought leadership and trying to find their own voice, I'm like, create your own version of the artist way. When you get up in the morning, either make it be a certain number of pages, a certain number of minutes, or whatever, just write. And write with your hand, not on a computer. And just dump, because you have to get the junk out before you get to the good stuff. Our brains are so filled with the junk. Like, just write, learn how to get it out of your head, and then you get to the golden nuggets. But we're in such a, instant society, and now with AI, people aren't even, their brains are in jars over here. It's like, you still got to use your brain. Use it as a tool, use it as a thought partner, use it to ideate with. But if you just put your brain in a jar and you just take whatever it gives you, your brain's going to look like what your leg looks like if you had a cast on it for 6 months and take it off. If anybody's ever, been in that situation, like where to go, right? Like
scrawny and withered away.
Yes,
yeah. Oh my God, dude, I knew it was gonna be good, but I didn't know it was gonna be this good. Wow. Like, I'm like, you're even more brilliant, and I just knew it. I knew it when I saw it. When I heard it, I was like, this. She's the one.
Aww.
Like the Oracle. That's what you remind me of, the Oracle from The Matrix.
Yeah.
Like,
well, my improv team is red pill players.
There you go.
Right.
See?
Yes.
Is that you named it that? Is it from that?
Take the red pill and follow us down the rabbit hole.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So, if you had to choose between delivery and science of speaking, or another way to say it, delivery or content, which wins? Content over delivery. But what if you have good content, you can't deliver it? Will anybody listen?
I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I was at a talk recently, and there were two speakers. The first speaker, you could tell, had been speaking for a very long time. They were perfect and polished, perfect presence, tone, voice, hit every mark, and people picked up their phones. And then there was another speaker who was just human. They were an artist. They weren't really a speaker, but they had something that they were passionate about and really wanted to share, and was on a big stage and had human moments, right? Like moments of having to breathe and pause and get their nerves under, They might have said a few ums or filler words that we constantly are trying to take out when we're becoming speakers. And that speaker got a standing ovation because that speaker was human. And we saw the other human on stage telling us something. We connected with it. I think as humans, we've been so inundated with perfect, polished brand. And I've 20 years in marketing advertising. I get it. We're so over perfect and polished that like we just want something real. So I think there's a such thing as over delivery. So yes, there's many ways that you can work on being a dynamic speaker, but if you become robotic in it and people can't see the human in you, or you're not actually connected to the content in a way that people can feel, then the person who doesn't deliver that well but says something that matters will always win over the perfectly polished person who we get bored with because we would have scrolled past it if they were on our phone. Right? We stop at the interesting things, at the things that we can connect and relate to. So if you think about how our brains work, if it's too perfect, we keep scrolling.
So good. Final question. What, if anything, is on your heart for humans, for the world right now?
I think the biggest thing goes back to, like, stop waiting for someday. It's just not promised. You get this one big, beautiful, messy life, right? And we all have these lived experiences that someone else can learn from. And we're afraid to use our voice because we think we don't know enough, we don't have enough experience, we're not smart enough, we're not expert enough, there's nothing I really have to say, right? But while you're thinking all these things, there's that one person sitting, waiting for you to say the thing because you're the one that's going to change their life.
So good. I'm just so happy. Because I think people are dope. And, I don't know, man. That's probably one of the reasons why I'm podcasting. Because part of me feels like some of the world's greatest gifts don't have the spotlight.
Yes.
And I don't think it's only about exposure. I think it's about the right exposure. And because I've been on ABC, I've been on some platforms, and because they didn't ask me the right questions, it either didn't equate to the results I want, or it created a mess of people reaching out for the wrong reasons, right? And I just think it's something to be said when people are actually interested in you. And what makes you one of a kind. Yeah. And I think you have several layers, but your deep empathy for humans and your care combined with like this strangely high performing brain of yours is a very powerful combo. It is serving humanity in really beautiful ways. And I just want to say thank you for being such a bright light and an inspiration. You've challenged me personally, and it's been nothing but an honor to interview you.
I'm going to expect a text from you telling me what game you go play with your team.
Accountability and the coach on the pod. Like, didn't even hold back. Didn't even give me a break on my own pod. So y'all know how it is, man. What an amazing interview. I hope you feel like I feel like calmer. Like, I feel chill. Like,
see, there you go. You used that word again.
I know. Yes. And you talked about like the ultimate, like, what you call it, red pill?
Red pill players.
And for me, you're the ultimate like chill pill.
Oh.
Like, you just exude peace, and fun in a really like invitational way. So I see why corporations love you and why you're good at helping them to feel safe to play. So by the way, if you're an organization or a team, hire your girl. Man, we might have to bring us both in because I think I talk about such serious, heavy things. They need the lightheartedness.
Let's make it fun.
And you understand the science. So anyways, maybe that's a thing. But for you, man, maybe your assignment is the same as mine. Maybe there's an invitation for you to add play to your next meeting, to your team culture. Maybe you can set greater boundaries around your access so you start overgiving. Maybe you give yourself permission to start to write your story. Maybe you go pick up one of the books, Anne Lamont's book, or Writing Well. Like whatever that is, take the step that is aligned with what resonated in your heart and share that with us, because we would want nothing more to hear that this is actually making a difference in your life. And we'd love to support you, hold you accountable, because apparently I'm held accountable now. And that's how we do. So y'all know the drill. Until next time, keep seeding.